Alright, this video is going to be about how to convert between fractions, decimals, and percentages. Now, this is something that I think everyone should know how to do, and it's really not too difficult, so let's just get started. Alright, in this first case, we're trying to convert from a fraction to a decimal. Alright, and the way we do that is to just do the division, or as I wrote over there in green, divide. So we take the numerator and we divide by the denominator, which of course is just going to give us 1.0. All right, and I could have left the 0.0 off at the end. It doesn't change the number. So this is just equal to 1. But we're going to keep that decimal because the next thing we want to do is convert a decimal to a percentage. So I'm going to rewrite my 1.0. And the way we convert from a decimal to a percentage is to just multiply by 100 and then put our percentage sign on the end. Okay, and the way we multiply a decimal by 100 is really easy. All we have to do is move the decimal point to the right 2 times. So let's do that. 1, 2. Now we have to fill in the gap we created there with a 0. All right, so our new decimal point would be on the end here, but in this case we're not going to write it because we're going to a percentage. So we're going to write 100 and put our percentage sign on the end, and that's it. All right, now just a little side note, in the word percentage is percent, which just means per 100 or divide by 100. All right, which leads us to our last part here, which is converting from a percentage to a fraction. So let's take our 100%. And all we have to do here is just take off our percent sign and divide by 100. So I'm just going to write 100 divided by 100. Which of course leads us back to 1 over 1, or just 1. Okay, let's look at another example here, because 1 is just too easy, right? So let's get crazy. Let's convert 25 over 789 to a decimal. All right, and I've already put that in my calculator, so 25 divided by 789 is 0.032. Okay, rounding off on the end there. All right, and if we wanted to convert that decimal to a percent, all we have to do is multiply by 100. So with a decimal, if you multiply by 100, you just move the decimal point to the right 2 times. That will leave us with 003.2. And we don't need to write zeros on the front of a number, so we'll just cross those off. Now all we have to do is write our percent sign, 3.2%. And if we want to convert that back to a fraction, we would just rewrite our number, remove the percent sign, and divide by 100. Now, if you were paying attention, you might notice that this is not the fraction that we started with. And that is because I rounded in the second step there. But if you wanted to double check this, you could put it in a calculator. Or if you need to divide a decimal by 100, all you have to do is move the decimal point to the left 2 times, fill in the gap, and rewrite your decimal point. So that's 0.032, which is close enough. Okay, now you may be wondering, well, what if I want to go backwards? Right? What if I want to go from a decimal to a fraction? And you may not be able to do that directly every time, but the good thing about this chart here, or these boxes, is that you have tools that you can use to go from whatever format you're given to whichever one you want. So if you wanted to go from a decimal to a fraction, my advice to you would be to take that decimal and convert it to a percentage. And then you could convert that percentage back to a fraction. So we could look at a quick example here. If we started with 0.2 or 0.20, and we wanted to convert that to a fraction, we could just take 0.20 and multiply it by 100. So we would move our decimal point to the right 2 times, and then just write our percent sign on the end. And then we could take the percentage and convert it to a fraction. So let's remove the percent sign, and then just divide by 100. All right, and that's it. That's 0.20 in fraction form. Now you may want to simplify your fraction at the end. So 20 over 100 is the same thing as 1/5. All right, let's look at one more example here. So let's say we wanted to go from a percentage to a decimal. And this is one case where you can go directly backwards. So let's say we had 37% and we wanted to convert that to a decimal. Okay, so if we went from a decimal to a percentage, we multiplied by 100. So to go the other way, a percentage to a decimal, we just divide by 100. So all we do here is just take off the percentage sign on the end, and we're going to move the decimal over to the left 2 times. And that's the same thing as dividing by 100. So 37% becomes 0.37 or 0.37.